This is David Rovics with a song for today. One songwriter's take on the history of the world, one song at a time. Available wherever you get your podcasts. The 1990s in the U.S. and many other countries was a period of neoliberal reform. The gutting of social programs, privatization of formerly government services, and efforts among the international business elites to cut costs and increase profits at the expense of working people around the world. By the late 1990s, a global justice movement was forming, in opposition to what proponents of the trade deals being pushed from Washington, D.C. called globalization, which the movement called corporate globalization. Popular movements within nations were becoming increasingly aware that the new colonialism, the new method for the capitalist elite to build financial structures that work in their favor, were these so-called free trade bills. And the new institutions they created, which were becoming less and less accountable to any elected officials, increasingly a global corporatocracy, given power by politicians who stood to benefit immensely from the unaccountable structures they were creating. With the election of Hugo Chavez in Venezuela in 1998 and the shutdown of the World Trade Organization meetings in Seattle in 1999 by tens of thousands of protesters engaged in nonviolent civil disobedience, despite the Seattle police force using up all of their tear gas supply, the global justice movement was seeping into the consciousness of people around the world, probably as dramatically in South America and Africa as in Europe or North America. Throughout the years when the global justice movement was active in the United States, the corporate and public media largely ignored it. When attention was paid, it was mostly local media covering events that were unavoidable, such as protests that were about to shut their city down for several days. If national media covered it, it was mostly to focus exclusively on the activities of the young people with masks on engaged in property destruction of one sort or another, a phenomenon widely encouraged by undercover police operatives around the world in order to discredit otherwise principled social movements, which is part of the environment around a protest in so much of the world going way back. For people active in the movement at the time, the events of November 21, 2003 represented the death knell of the global justice movement, at least in the U.S. What was overwhelmingly nonviolent civil disobedience on the part of thousands of people who came to voice their opposition to the free trade area of the Americas being negotiated by regional leaders in Miami was met with what witnesses generally described as a premeditated police riot.
Leaders of the world had gathered to make the planet freer for free trade, to create a better business climate for all the profits they had made. Surrounded by an army, there for their defense, armed with APCs and copters and lots of common sense. Behind a fence, behind a wall that shouts you shall not pass. Broken skulls, plastic bullets, and 1,000 gallons of tear gas. And the world leaders kept on talking behind the moat upon the hill, and they boasted of prosperity in their latest free trade bill. They thank God, they thank Boeing, they thank the World Bank, they thank the firepower of the M1 tank. They defended their positions and the glory of their class, with broken skulls, plastic bullets, and 1,000 gallons of tear gas. On the streets we chanted, we have no clubs or guns. We've just come to tell the people the evil ways this system runs. But the truth can set us free, the rulers all knew well. So they drowned the truth with copters and the ringing of the bell, with their tasers on our bodies and our faces in the grass. Broken skulls, plastic bullets, and 1,000 gallons of tear gas. the cameras hid behind the lines, 500,000 men in blue. When the rich men moved their lips, they recorded them on cue. The occupation of a city by an army of police wasn't worthy of a mention from the reporters of the piece. Neither were the wounded children or the boarded glass, or the broken skulls, plastic bullets, and 1,000 gallons of tear gas.
This has been a Song for Today from David Rovics, making popular education popular again. If you go to davidrovics.com, you can hear lots of other episodes of this and other podcasts, see where I'm touring next, and get on my email list. You can also click on CSA there on my website and join my community-supported art program, which is mainly how I get by in the free streaming era. I hope to see you sometime soon again here on the internet or on the road and hopefully in the streets.